Today, I'm going to show you how I made this seafood paella. My name's Greg. Welcome to the Gourmet Woodsman. About an hour before I want to start making my paella, I peeled my shrimps here. I'm going to add water, or actually I'm going to add chicken stock. I'm just going to try to utilize these shrimp shells to extract more flavor, because it's all about the layers of flavor. Well, while my shrimp peels are steeping, I can prep the rest of these ingredients, starting with a half a large onion. And a half of a large bell pepper, although this one's not very large, so I think I'll just use the whole pepper. And I'm gonna peel a few cloves of garlic. And I'm just gonna make some slices like that. And a couple of tomatoes. And that's gonna be the base for our flavors. It's called a sofrito. Now, I'm gonna cut up my chorizo. You look at that homemade chorizo. That is delicious. Oh yeah, a little cross-section view. Now, I know chorizo is not a traditional paella ingredient, but I'm not making a traditional paella. I'm not Spanish and I'm not in Spain. And I like chorizo in my paella. So that's how I'm doing it. But you know, you do you. It's all good. So this isn't probably a traditional Spanish fish to put in your paella, because I don't really think they have albacore tuna over there in the Mediterranean. Here in the Pacific Northwest right now, it's tuna time. These albacore tuna are coming in, and this is just some of the best stuff. So I'm just gonna cut a few steaks and put them on in the paella. So one necessary ingredient for paella is you want some saffron, which is a ridiculously expensive spice. Saffron is the pistil from a crocus flower. And it has to be picked just when the petals open at a certain time. It's ridiculously labor intensive. I like to bloom mine, so I've taken my hot broth. I'm just gonna let it bloom in there. I feel like that helps you get the most out of it. So before we go over to the stove, gotta talk about the rice. I'm using bomba rice to make this paella. This is a Spanish rice. It absorbs more liquid than a traditional rice. Try to make this with like a jasmine or a basmati. It's just not gonna work out for you. All right, now we're ready to cook. Everything's prepped. This is just gonna go pretty quick now. Start by warming up my pan. Put a good 1/3 cup or so of oil, extra virgin olive oil. Oil's starting to bubble and shimmer. I'm gonna start working on these layers of flavor. Cooking down this chorizo. I try to cook right-handed to keep my hand out of the way of the damn camera. All right, once that's crisped up, move that out of there with the slotted spoon. Save that to add back in later. But you can see the oil. You can see it's turned that pretty orange from all that paprika and the chorizo. And I'm just gonna real quick, just for like a minute or two, we put in the squid. Again, just developing layers of flavor. I think usually you just use the rings, but these had some of these tentacles in it too. I'm fine with that. Really just giving that about a minute. Don't want to make them chewy and weird. Smell them pretty good already, actually. Now we're going to continue building these layers of flavor. Going in with the onion. Start building this sofrito. My heat is right around medium, maybe medium high. Cook these onions a few minutes just till they start to soften. Looks like a lot of grease, but a lot of that's the water that cooked out from that squid. Once onions just start to get soft, gonna add in the red peppers. Keep on building these layers of flavor. Once the peppers are getting soft, add in that garlic. Cook it for just a minute or so. Don't want it to turn brown. Then we'll add the tomatoes. And at this point, give it a little salt. Maybe a couple little cracks of pepper. All right, once these tomatoes have cooked down a little bit, going in with the 2 cups of rice. Once all this rice is coated with oil, I'm gonna go in with a 1/2 cup of wine, using white wine. And I'm going with 3.5 cups of that chicken stock that I steeped the shrimp peels in and bloomed the saffron. And now we just want to make sure that try to get that rice into an even layer on the bottom. Add back in my squid. Gonna stir that around so that it's evenly distributed. And now I'm not gonna stir it again. Once it starts to bubble, I'll take note of the time, give it like 10 minutes, and we'll start adding the rest of the seafood. At this point, you want to taste for seasoning. I'm gonna add my chorizo back in. 10 minutes, I'm going in with the clams. Put them hinge side up so all that juice drains into the paella. Probably got more of them than I needed, but can't really have too much seafood. I'm going in with some mussels, and then my peeled shrimp, and finally my pieces of albacore tuna. And we just want to push that all in so it's under the surface. Don't want to stir the rice because we don't want to disturb that bottom layer. Oh yeah, there's a little liquid still. Might top that off with a little water. Now I'm just going to put my lid on it. Leave that for another 10 minutes. Should be done. Alright, after 20 minutes, I'm just going to turn this heat off. Leave that alone for about 5 minutes. And we'll see. Hopefully we got that crispy bottom.